Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Day two. Welcome back to day two of the I Love AI Challenge. Today is an amazing day because we get to talk about not only yesterday, just to recap for those of you who missed it. Thank you for everyone who did your homework. Consider yourselves entered in to win some cool stuff. And you all know me, it's going to be hard for me to pick people. So I might just, if you do homework, everybody's going to win. Everyone's a winner in the I Love AI community. What's up, friends? Come on in, say hello in the chat. Otherwise, people will not know you're here. Usually, participant information is not shared in the Zoom unless you want it to be. So, if you want to be seen, just say hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Cynthia's in the house. Great to see you all. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to switch. So, yesterday, I posted a bunch of links and realized I only sent them to myself. So, hopefully, you all saw that. We have created a special, actually, maybe I'll show my screen so you all can see it. But great to have you all here. Welcome to day two of the I Love AI Challenge. And yesterday we focused on what's up, Afwa. Thank you for being here. Yesterday, we focused on AI for personal development and the tools that I use in my own daily life in order to increase the amount of time I spend doing the things I love and decrease the amount of time I spend doing things that I don't. Today, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit towards how I use it to do the work that I do every single day. I will be providing a couple prompts along the way that I use all the time. Again, this is not to replace what you're doing, simply to augment. And if there's anything, hopefully by the end of today, you will hear or two new nuggets. Let me put that up here. One or two new nuggets that you haven't heard before or you haven't thought about before. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Noelle Russell. Good to see you all. Tara's in the house. Yara, Sandrine, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And again, if you're here live on the Zoom, go ahead and throw your name or say hello in the chat. Amit, of course, is in the house. Good to see you again, my friend. And of course, this is a chance for you to ask questions, not only about what I do, but I have many clients across lots of different industries, about 19, 20 industries. So if you have questions that I can, give information that's in my brain to help you in any of the areas we talk about today, please feel free to just throw it in the Q&A and I will be happy to help you with that. Yes, great to see you, Kathy. What's up? Good to see you, my friend. Raquel is in the house. All right, we got lots of great, amazing energy in the room. People are still joining because, of course, we just got this party started. But again, just to recap, yesterday we had a lot of fun talking about how to use AI in your personal life. And we did a kind of non-AI thing. But I think it's the most AI task you can do, which is actually set your intention. So many of you took the challenge and actually wrote down everything you want to have, do, and be, whether in 2025 or just holistically. And now you have a lens upon which to see the world of AI. So a lot of people, many times, yesterday I got the question twice from two different people. How do I separate the signal from the noise? Like, there is so much noise about AI. How do I separate it? The number one thing you can do is the exercise many of you did yesterday, which is to identify what you want, to find clarity of thought in what you want, and then identify how you're going to measure it. Now you can be laser focused on the type of AI systems and solutions you want to either build or acquire in order to help you get those things, achieve those goals, and reach those metrics. That alone will help you kind of ignore some of the craziness that's going on in this world and actually use AI to the betterment, not only of you, of your family, of your career, but also of humanity. So let's do that. So welcome everyone to day two. So great to see you. Sheila's in the house. Geneva, hello. We just met in person. So cool to see you here as well. Javier, hola. Hello, my friend. So great to see you all. And of course, Alonso is in the house. So all of us friends and family in the I Love AI community, as well as the AI Leadership Institute. So thank you all for being here. Now, I do have quite a bit of things that I want to share with you today, so I'm going to try and stay focused. We'll see what happens. It is Valentine's Day week. So every year, this week is really important to me for a couple reasons. One, it's a chance to really just embrace hearts and love, which I put hearts on everything. I don't have an I in my name, but if I did, I'd put a heart above it every time I wrote it. But I do, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but every time I get one of those name tags, hello, my name is, I will always put Noelle and a big heart. So I'm a big believer. The first principle of the Lamplighters leadership principles is love. The very first principle is love. And so this is an important week for me because last year at this time, we launched our I Love AI community. We are now past 1,300 very members that we picked, that we hand selected. Those of you who have listened to me on a call or those of you who haven't. So if you have not joined the AI Leadership Institute or our I Love AI community, please do. It's a great opportunity to learn from each other. It is very much a community, though I do a bit of talking in it. We have lots of people who share lots of things, and we'll be doing even more of that in this coming year. So to do that, you could just go to Noelle, my name, Noelle.ai, and that'll take you right to a page where you can join our free community and also see what other opportunities we offer. But that is a way to get on this Zoom and be part of the fun. Every Friday, including this one, we get together at 4 o'clock just to hang out, ask questions of each other, and share what we're learning in the world. I try to, the best I can, remember all the things I do in a week. And so I share them with you every single week. And I invite you all to be part of it. What? Taco Tuesday. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Let's start with that, shall we? So 10 years ago, maybe, yeah, about 10 years ago, I got an opportunity to go to Ireland to be the keynote speaker at an event called UXDX, which was like the user experience, developer experience, like design, like all of like this holistic view of how to build good experiences. And I was the keynote speaker, and this is 10 years ago. So I was very excited about my new journey in the world of Amazon Alexa and the world of voice technology. And so my keynote, the very first slide said, voice will be everywhere. Voice will be everywhere. And so, and on the next slide, I think it said Alexa will be everywhere, but it said voice will be everywhere. And it's very, very cool to see 10 years later, we are just starting to scratch the surface of what that looks like with tools like ChatGPT and Gemini providing the ability to just hit your microphone, have a conversation with an AI system that can actually be helpful to you. I should also mention Siri. I mean, you know, she started it all. So that being the case, I was in Ireland, and when I did this keynote, my main story was about imagining a time when you could use your voice to do all sorts of things. And what I really like, and I ended up using this story for years. I should go back to it. It's such a good story. But on Tuesdays, my family, we are Taco Tuesday people. We are Friday pizza people. We like routine. And so I was like, imagine a time when you could have your own device. And whether that device is a dot sitting in your office, or you're in your car talking to Joy in your BMW, or you're on your phone talking to Siri, that you would just be able to at any point in the day say, hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Let's do a thing. And that device would know when you said that, its job was to do a few things. One, its job, and I said this is 10 years ago. This was my talk. You would have as soon as you say it's Taco Tuesday, an order would be placed of the things you order every Tuesday. Today, I do this through Instacart. At the time, I did it through Amazon Fresh, and it would automatically go and order all the things that you need. It would also know, because it has communication to your refrigerator, LG, Life is Good, that can see inside your fridge to assess the situation of how many onions you have, or how many, what the expiration on your sour cream is. And so knowing that information, it can actually order the right thing at the right time for Taco Tuesday and have it delivered to my door before I even got home from work. This was back in the day when I commuted. I'm glad to not do that anymore. But I would have like an hour and a half commute. So I'd be like, hey, it's Taco Tuesday, Amazon Fresh, orders in progress, delivers when I get there. I also have, I go to CES every year. I'm one of the speakers at one of the many houses that are there, either the Creator House or the AI House. And when I do these sessions, I always like to take time and go to the appliances section. And over the last 10 years, I've seen an evolution from Samsung and LG in making these devices contextually aware, creating an opportunity for you to communicate with them. And so, again, now I've got Amazon Fresh ordering my food and delivering it to my door. It also preheats my oven, knowing that I'm going to need to put tortillas in for 5 to 6 minutes. It also knows to give me some instructions. So, for example, I don't know how many of you have done what is it called? Like Freshly, or what was another one? Not Factor, like Blue Chef, was it called? I don't even know the names anymore. But I was very excited to get a pile of stuff delivered to my door and then I could prepare it. Well, these companies would deliver a bunch of stuff to your door, but then you had to do all the things. And it would say, this meal takes about 45 minutes. But what they didn't counter or count in that time was how long it would take someone like myself to dice tomatoes or dice onions or any of these things. And it takes me, no judgment, like, it takes me a long time to do the dicing. I'm a little bit worried. I don't want to cut my nails or cut my fingers in the process. So I'm very careful. It takes me longer than the average bear to make my food. However, imagine a time when my device, my Alexa, my Siri, my ChatGPT knows from past behavior exactly how long that's going to take, right? So now we are now in a world where we are talking about this in a term called agentic AI. But 10 years ago, I delivered a Taco Tuesday talk that said, could you imagine having all of these little agents? I didn't call them that at the time, but all these little agents ordering your food, prepping your oven, ready to give you contextually relevant instructions on the task you were about to do based on your own past performance and a little nudge to encourage you to do it maybe a little bit faster. All of that starts with first my desire to do a thing, which is the invocation of Taco Tuesday. And so that actually is available. You can go watch it. That video that I did with that talk is actually still available on my YouTube channel if y'all want to check it out. Hello Fresh. Yes, Raquel. This is why I have my family on the phone. Thank you, Raquel. Hello Fresh. Yes. Do y'all remember that? I don't know. Some of you might be Hello Fresh people, but I tried it for weeks at a time, and eventually it just got to the point where I could not easily cook a thing in the time they said, and then all of a sudden I'm spending more time cooking than I am eating, and it was no good for me. So now I also have tried doing it in pre-boxes. That also doesn't work for me. So I'm back to cooking the way my parents did. So, but I'm sure there's innovation in me yet for that thing. But today we are going to focus on building a level of awareness of the types of things we can do to improve our professional lives. So that was, of course, a personal anecdote of how I've done it. It was in the professional setting that I mentioned it, right? I was speaking on stage. So there are a couple different areas that I want to focus on today. One of them, of course, is in just the ability to be more productive. I would love to know in the chat, you could think about it a little bit, but you could just throw some ideas in the chat. I will repurpose them over into the school community as well. But just some of the ways that you're using AI right now. And again, if you're watching this and you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, just think about a way that you're using AI right now that actually provides value in the form of productivity. Like it saves you time, something you do now that you never could do before. Just think about this. And again, it's to help other people that are watching this, it's helped us all in the community. Like, are you using AI to actually provide some level of productivity? Hopefully, yes. And hopefully you found at least one way to do that. If not, by the end of today, you will definitely have some options. But yeah, so let's say if you are using, Blue Apron. Yes, thank you, Sheila. Blue Apron was the other one. But yeah, like what are the types of things you're asking ChatGPT to do? Like, is it, I don't even want to answer. Like, what are you saying to ChatGPT? And if you can't remember, go look in your chat summary, right? Your audit trail of every conversation you've had with ChatGPT, and just look through there and see, is any of those things, like sometimes we ask for things that are not very productive, like not very productivity focused, but sometimes we do. Like, are we doing something to reduce the amount of time we spend on a task? I would love to do. Yes, exactly, Amit. Thank you. Yeah, summarization is key. Most people, if you're not doing it now, try that. Anytime I get a report now, there was a mindset that I had. Like if I saw a report, I'd be like, am I gonna read that report? Should I download that ebook? Should I give them my information? I think I printed one just to give you a sense of some of the ones that I'm talking about. So this one, right? This is a MIT Tech Review Insights partnered with Databricks, which means Databricks sponsored it. So you'll see a bunch of Databricks like included in the copy, but this is what I used to do. I would grab these ebooks, I'd print them out. This is what I like. I highlight it, I dog ear the pages because it helps me acquire the knowledge. But I don't know if this is even good. So, the nice thing, one of the easiest things you can do is now, anytime someone creates content, just summarize it and find out if there's any value in it for you at all. Yes, so many of you use AI note takers now, right? Sometimes I'll do my calls and there'll be more note takers than humans. I hope that day never comes. But absolutely, like Firefly, right? Is that one of them? But certainly Otter. I've been using Otter for a long time. Here's so let the games begin. First tool of the day, the tool I use in my own environment. I don't actually know if it's on right now. Let me go and turn it on. But for every call that I have, I use this tool, and it's because I am very present in my conversations. Like right now, I'm 100% focused on you, and I want to like engage and like like let's have a conversation. And in these meetings, I'm so focused on creating a good experience that I sometimes forget kind of take notes. I forget to like document my action items or remember the date. I used to, when I worked at big companies like IBM and Accenture, I had an EA who would sit on these calls and do kind of that work for me. But now we have note takers to do that. But those note takers, they do show up in your meeting and they do kind of disclose to everyone that you're taking notes, which there's an ethical part of that, sure. I would even say 2 years ago, when an AI system joined a call, we kind of all were like, wait, what's happening right now? Like, what are you listening to? I don't know if I want to be recorded. Your behavior might even have changed. If you think about the Heisenberg principle, right? The art of observation and what that does to people's behavior. So when you think about that and the art of observation, and now AI is observing our calls, does that change your behavior? So I use a different tool that's used for my own personal note taking, and it's called. I'm gonna go see if it's even working right now. It is not, so I'm going to encourage it to start. Yay. All right. And then I'll share my screen so you can kind of see as it works. So it's recording right now. We are also, of course, recording and transcribing the Zoom call. I would encourage you, I have it on auto record. Whenever I start a Zoom, it automatically records. I do like you all know this because when we first started, like this was all we did. But I do like to usually, especially at companies like Accenture, IBM, Microsoft, there was a disclosure that was said by the person who owned the meeting to let people know that that recording was happening. I'm not sure if that's still required, but it is still very nice. Similar in the sense of me disclosing my pronouns, right? Like letting someone know how I like to be referenced from a pronoun perspective. And again, that's not so you know how to reference me. It's more so that you know I sincerely want to know how to reference you. It's a really great inclusive opportunity. It gives people a chance to opt in or opt out. And so that is one of the things that I see a lot of people doing is using AI to note take. But the first tool I use consistently every single day is a tool called Limitless. And I'm not sure what the URL is, so I'm going to go to my handy dandy arc display and put it in here. Let's see here. Limitless. Oh, it's limitless.ai, it looks like. Yes, indeed it is. They also have a wearable, a pendant. And so let me find you all in my Zoom. There you are. So this limitless.ai system, it's I'll type it into the chat so you all can get it. And now you will get it this time instead of all the things I did yesterday. We'll also put it in day two's summary inside school so you all can capture this there as well, especially those of you who are driving. Don't worry. But it is limit. I hope I spelled this right. Limitless.ai. I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me click on it and make sure it works. Sometimes. Yeah, there it is. So Limitless was primarily, it actually started from an organization that I've been a part of, and I was part of the design partnership with them called Rewind. And I really liked it because I was like on your system, passivated or stored on your hard drive, and it provided you the ability to rewind your day. I still have it to this day. I don't actually know what the future of it is. They might have discontinued it, but it's still working. So at least I've got that. But the concept was that during any conversation, I could just rewind it. As a matter of fact, right now that is work. Right now my system is being recorded for rewind purposes. So let's say I have a conversation, and here's what mostly happens: I'll say something in a mentorship meeting or in a coaching meeting with one of my clients, and I'll tell them something, and I'll be like, "Man, that was good. Like, what did I say?" And so I can go to rewind and grab the transcription of what I said and actually either create notes from it or I've often created little quote cards from quotes I've captured myself saying. So creating the ability to record yourself is a bit of a flex because you can reuse that content, number one, but also it allows you to go back at any point in time in your day and be like, what was that meeting again? How did that go? And it's not like you're turning on a bot to do this every meeting. You're not having to remember to do it. It just records everything. And I think it records it for 6 months at a time. So I can go back even 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I can ask questions. Hey, remember when I talked to this company, this company about this thing? And it will rewind back to that time and give me that information. So Limitless is the future version of this. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with any of the things that I mentioned to you. I simply share these things as tools that I use for myself. I don't have the pendant yet because they promised to give it to us last quarter and it's still in development, but hardware is hard. And I have empathy being part of Alexa and driving hardware to market. It's hard. And you don't want to do what my other device that I'm going to mention for personal productivity. Anyone know what this is? This is like the Humane AI pin. And I don't know if it's charged right now. No, it's not. But this Humane AI pin, I actually had it on the charger. But this Humane AI pin, it basically allows you to clip it to your clothes. So it has these are both batteries, but it has a magnetic um, thing. So you can put it on your clothes, something like a jacket like this. And once you have it on, it basically is voice enabled, so you can speak to it, but it also has what's called a laser menu. So it has a laser menu that allows you to put a menu on your hand and use gestures to control the menu. It allows you to connect it to your phone. What I have found it to be the most helpful with is translation. So oftentimes I'm in countries where I don't speak this language, and so I can use it for real-time translation. And that has been the most common use case I've used it for. Maybe an edge case, but I use it all the time. But it also allows me to catch up. So it connects to my Bluetooth. I can catch up on messages. I can ask questions, which is like my favorite feature. I can ask questions of my messages. So all the text messages I've ever sent, I can be like, hey, remember that address that was sent to me 3 weeks ago? Can you tell me what that is? And it will reiterate from that message thread what that address was. So I don't have to scroll and try and find information. I can just ask for what I want, and it has contextual awareness to all the conversations that I've had since I've owned the device. Really cool. So that is the Human AI pin. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So these are kind of hardware solutions. I won't stay all in hardware today, but I do want to again, let me go and type it in so I make sure I use the right Humane. So I give you the right link, and all these links will be provided as well. So let me just copy this. It's humane.com, I think. Oh yeah, that's it. Now, just so you can be also empathetic to companies that attempt to do this work, Humane did launch early. They did launch too early. They launched with a lot of, I did a whole Instagram story on it. I remember the first time I got this pin and I put it on my clothes. Within about 2 minutes, I got a message that said, system is overheating, shutting down. And it was almost like a self-destruction type of message, like this is about to explode on your person. It was very bizarre. Within it, and so a bunch of us got this when it was in that state, beta, early beta, hardware. They did an over-the-air update and fixed it almost immediately, but the damage was kind of done. And so they got all this kind of bad press around their hardware and that it wasn't ready. It's very good now. So I think they're trying to kind of reseed the market with some interest, but I love it. I use it every time I travel. I use it. One of another favorite feature I have is that it can, if you're like in Philadelphia, or I was recently in Silicon Valley, you could take a picture of where you are and ask it to tell you where you are. And it'll say, and I found out like I will take pictures of random things and it'll give me history on a building that I never thought was important. And it turns out to be some historical building that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I also do, when I go to my hotels, I will take a picture of what I can see and ask it to describe what I see. But from an accessibility perspective, something I think that's really cool. My son, for example, many of you know, has Down syndrome. So he can use tools like this that we have a mirror that has a similar technology, but you can use the AI pin, stand in front of a mirror, take a picture and say, hey, I'm on my way to a business meeting. Do I look appropriate? And it'll give you kind of an assessment of what appropriate looks like for a business meeting, for a formal event, for a cocktail party. It'll also let you know, do I look okay? Meaning it'll check your face to see if you have like peanut butter or mustard or something or anything in your teeth. How many of you, my husband and I have this thing like right before I go on stage, I'm like, just to like see, I'm like, hey, anything going on? And he will, of course, be like, no, honey, you're fine. But it's nice to have an AI system that can help people who might struggle to see those things about themselves. So really cool stuff. Yes, Sandrine, I love it too. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. Okay, so one of the things, as I was mentioning about productivity, a lot of you are already using it for note taking and summarization. So if you're not currently doing that, do that. The other thing you can do, and it is a lesser known AI capability. Let's see, I have it here somewhere. Yes. I don't know how many of you have one of these. It's called a Rocket Book. Anyone have one? This is probably my third one, though they're supposed to last forever, but they don't under certain circumstances, and I'm very hard on them. But what I love about it is that it allows you to, I don't know if you, there we go, I'll put it at this side. It allows you to identify like topics. You then will mark, as you write your notes, you mark your topics. You take a picture of it, and it uses OCR, optical character recognition, to analyze what you've written, turn it into text-based notes, and ingest it into a document that you can then edit, which is fancy. So I've gone through lots of iterations of this. Let me see if I have my other one. Moleskin launched, I don't think I have it handy, but Moleskin launched, oh yeah, here it is. Moleskine launched a similar, like, look, this looks like, this is why I liked it. It's like a paper notebook. It's like just paper. There's nothing, oh, I don't know what's in here. It's just like paper, dotted lines, like cool. I love notebooks like this. However, it comes with a pen that looks like this. This pen is infused with infrared and will detect when you write. So here's the coolest thing about this is that as I take notes in meetings, it is number one, you can color code it. So even though you're writing in black ink, you can color code how you write it. And it also records as you write. So your notes can become a movie that explain things to people. Like, cool. So imagine you're doing a podcast and you're just taking notes as you're doing the podcast. You can then take that thing you wrote anyway, and you can turn it into a movie that you stick on social media. And now you have a piece of content. Like, it's so really interesting. So these are some of the things that I use. Granted, part of my professional work is to create a brand for myself. I want my reputation to precede me in every room that I'm in. And the only way for that to happen is if you take some steps to actually repurpose what you're doing and make it available to the world. Publish yourself. Hit the publish button, hit the, go live button, and make what you're doing available. And again, you don't have to do it to everyone. You can create a small community on School like I did. That small community turned into a big one, but it started with just 30 of my friends. And all I would do was go live with them. They were safe, they were nice to me, and they encouraged me. And now look at us. They have as much ownership in the growth of our community as I do, because we all just started a safe and, kind of supportive environment to ask questions about AI. And as more and more of us started to do it well, we shared that information with others and pulled people along with us. And it's just such an enriching thing. So think about that. Like, as you're thinking about ways to kind of, as you're doing your work, you want the world to know that you do this work. It is not just for your employer. Like, I'm not saying show your trade secrets and share company information. Please do not take this the wrong way. But there are things that you uniquely think, the things you uniquely do to get a job done that you could share with the world. Like, There is no scarcity in these types of ideas. You came up with the idea to do it the first time, you'll come up with new ideas to evolve it. But share that with people so that when your employers are looking for you and they find you, they're like, I like what you did there. That's pretty cool. I see that. Oh, yeah, that's cool. We want some of that. Right? What we do 2 years from now, yeah, Noelle, yeah, I love it when I do that. But really, really cool. Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh, sorry about that. Rocketbook, actually, Yara. Oh, yeah, you got it. Yes, you got it. Sorry. So Rocketbook is the first one, and yeah, I didn't put them in the chat. But we will put all of these links in the classroom. I don't even know. Let me go test this one out too. Rocketbook AI. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull up the URL as well. So much fun. Oh, I see. I see what's happening. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna try. I've got Limitless up, Rocketbook, and I bought mine on Amazon, but I bought my first one on Kickstarter when they were brand new, like brand new. And it was cool because it's called Rocketbook because their initial like marketing was to astronauts, right? Like you could write in space. And the reason I like this, oh, I forgot the whole like punchline. The reason it's getrocketbook.com. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that link into the chat. Copy link. But the reason I like it is because it's completely reusable. So I know me not writing in a bunch of Moleskine notebooks doesn't save the world if I stop writing in 100 books a year. But the nice thing about this is that once you've completely filled this notebook up, you can wipe it clean. So it's removable in water or in heat. The first one I just loved. I would stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes and all the ink would disappear. Now, it does mean you have to use cool ink, friction pens. Excuse me while I get them. These are the new version of erasable pens, but these friction pens you grab, there are a specific type of erasable pen that work with this book. You get one when you buy the book. A black one comes with it. But it's pretty cool. And the reason I like it is because, again, once I save this and OCR it, and it becomes a file that I can now use in my notebook, my virtual notebook, I just erase this whole thing and start over. And so there's a QR code on every page. Anyway, it's very, very cool. So Rocketbook, and then this was Moleskine, but it is a very specific type of Moleskine. So you'll have to Google it. But they have a lot, and it's neat. So this is the one I wrote when I had the ideation for Lamplighters. This is where I came up with it, and so I love this book because it has all of my Lamplighter principles and all my initial thoughts on it, and it formed what today is known as the Lamplighter Effect podcast. But it's like this is how OCR, like AI, is embedded in these two things but it's not sold as an AI thing. And I think that is one of the biggest opportunities we have as professionals is to realize and figure out how do we use AI in things that are already a part of what we do or find things like if I write in a notebook, why not write in a notebook that's AI enabled? Like it's not that big of a leap. They call this anchoring when you're trying to create new habits. I don't know how many of you have read Atomic Habits, but one of the most important things that you can do is when you're trying to do a new thing, like leverage AI to make your life better, it's good to anchor that in something you already do, like leverage AI in note taking. I already take notes every single day. Now I'm going to shift that just a tiny bit to using a system that allows AI to help me with that. I, for example, always every morning drink coffee in the morning. And now I've attached to that taking supplements. So I wouldn't take supplements by itself. I'd always forget. But now that I've attached it to before I have coffee, I'm going to take supplements, drink a bunch of water, and then I get to have coffee. That anchoring it to something I'm already doing every day is super powerful. And oh, good. I'm so glad, Lola. Thank you. And Varol, wonderful. Yes. So Varol was asking a question. Companies tend to use certified software in their operations. What's your experience with how receptive organizations are to using these .ai apps? Good question. So here's what is happening, the reality, and some people kind of call it shadow AI or like shadow IT. I know Varol, you'll know that term. So a lot of organizations, the professionals like us in these companies are using these .ai apps. But just to give you some context, in 1998, AWS was a .ai app. It was a grassroots under the, like only cloud architects were using this. The CEO didn't know they were using AWS. No one used they were like there were it was all done by the people, right? The people doing the work leveraged this technology, leveraged AWS. Back then it was called Developer Services, Amazon Developer Services. And I was one of those early members. I think I got my registration in 96 or whatever. And so when like at that time, it was the cool new thing that a bunch of people in the business knew would change everything. They started using it so much so that AWS was only selling to the people doing the work and were not selling to the people making the decisions. And that I think is very similar to where we are now, where people doing the work are going to leverage these AI applications. It is the only difference, I think, is that to use AWS back then, it required you to get a pretty specialized skill set, right? So there was some discipline that was required in order to use the thing. There is zero discipline required in order to use a .ai, right? It's a web app that you could just go to a website and start using it. So I think there's a lot more risk today, but the tendency is the same, which means I think we're starting to see organizations realize 30% of their workforce is using ChatGPT, so they better come up with a solution to leverage that safely in their organization. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh my gosh, for sure, Sherry. Yes, we are both Kickstarter people. But yeah, so hopefully, so I do think that if you went into an executive room and said, "Hey, how about this .ai solution?" They would be less. I don't know. I feel like there'd be some resistance there. However, if you first just survey the people that do the work every day, and then bring that survey to the executives and say 30% of your people are using this technology, 50%, 100% are using this technology. Wouldn't you want to use it safely? That is a huge opportunity. And it's exactly the same sales message when I went in and sold AWS, right? When I went in as a solution architect to say, hey, you should buy AWS, it's because I would be like, your team is already using it. So let's just make sure you're using it safely. Let's make sure you're on an enterprise level tenant, that you're well architected, that you do all of these things and use these services. I feel like we're in the exact same place. Awesome. Hopefully that answers your question, Verl. Feel free to throw in additional stuff. So getrocketbook.com. I don't know if anyone was able to throw that link in the chat, but I copied it already. I don't know if I did it, but I'm gonna throw it in there anyway. And we'll condense all of these as we go through these tools and technologies together. Now, of course, many of you probably use ChatGPT. But one thing I thought I wanted to do some tests. So yesterday I was running some tests. One of the things I often like to do is I go to ChatGPT and I ask it questions on my audience, and I'll ask it what the problems my audience has. And then I'll ask it to come up with some solutions just as like a thought partner. But in this thought partnership yesterday, I thought it was very interesting that it suggested to me, and I had it search the internet, which is dangerous, but it suggested to me as a practical for professionals idea that I use, let me get this right, Microsoft Outlook with Cortana. Anyone remember Cortana? Yeah. Cortana, anyway, it's interesting that it would suggest this, but I was like, so I immediately was like, tell me more about this. Tell me more about this Cortana thing. And so it just reminds me, like, there is such a good opportunity to partner with AI, but it is trained on a world of data that has I mean, when you ask it to search the internet as its knowledge base, it's extremely risky, right? Like if an executive did that, they'd literally be like, Cortana, huh? Let me ask about Cortana. Like Cortana, yeah, it's kind of outdated. Yeah, I think they actually killed it, to be honest. I was on the team that they deprioritized the development of Cortana. And rightfully so, because now they have Copilot. So Cortana is dead. Copilot lives. So I'm just shocked that they wouldn't say Microsoft Outlook and Copilot. Anyway, so just a reminder, as you partner with these technologies, especially in these, as a professional, you really have to be very careful with the data set that you choose to use. Because, like I just thought I wanted to share with you, and it happens every day. I get some weird behavior and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why it said that. And always I will ask it, where did you get that from? And it'll show me a source of information, especially in ChatGPT. When you use the internet, it'll source where it got the information. It'll be some website, that is still talking about Cortana. It won't be old. It'll be like from October 2024, but they're mistaken, right? It doesn't mean it's not a valid source that it found it somewhere. Like it actually does exist on the internet, but the internet's wrong. So you really have to be very careful when you're starting to use these tools. So some of the things I wanted to share with you today were some of the prompts that I use every single day. One of them is before every meeting, and this is where, oh, I can go in. Let's see if I can share with you this screen. Yeah. I'm going to do this. So let me share my screen and I will show you what Limitless is doing for me. And so this is what I do every day. I'm going to go to, let's see, show my screen. Here we go. So this is Limitless and it's capturing our conversation, right? So right now it's building a transcript based on the speaker, and it will also generate notes as I speak, and it'll also generate summary, but it's not done. So it hasn't summarized yet, though I could force a summary right now if I wanted to. So this is super valuable. However, this is because I just started this recording, but what it also does is give you a list of all of your meetings, right? So if I have a meeting with someone, let's say this person, you'll notice there's also a prep. Now I'm picking this intentionally because I got on this call without any email prep, but it will search your inbox for any conversations that you have had prior to this meeting. A flex, like do this. Super helpful to me because I have lots and lots of meetings and I want to be, as I mentioned to you earlier, extremely present in the conversations that I have with people. The best way to be present is to do your own homework before the call. But what if you don't have time to do that? This will do that for you. So an additional step, in addition to post-call analytics, like summarizing and providing you insights, generating action items, what about pre-call preparation? And so I really like this feature. It allows you for every one of your meetings. Now, granted, it is, I think right now, it's connected to Google, right? So my Noelle.ai. So a lot of my conversations actually happen in my company email, which is AI Leadership Institute. But neither here nor there. This was just to give you an example of another way to add AI to help you prep for your meetings. Copilot does this as well. So some of I'm just going to share with you some of the prompts that I use every day. One, generate an email summarizing the meeting and action items. I usually will just go here and grab this summary and make some small changes. Sometimes, so this model in Limitless has been trained on meetings. And what that means is that it automatically thinks in terms of two people meeting to address a goal, and that each member of that meeting will have action items. So if I'm doing a conversation like this, the meeting notes, you'll even see, like if I go back to my meeting right now, this recording, right? As I generate these notes, it's going to try and put it in the context of a business meeting, but it's not. It's a live content. I'm creating content, like it's a live that I'm doing with my audience. So it sometimes mischaracterizes what I'm doing, but it's still extremely valuable to me because it captures notes, links, references, and all of that, really reducing the amount of time I spend on those types of tasks. One of the other things I do is, again, based on the fact that I've trained my AI on my have, do, and be. So that is another thing. Let me go ahead and stop sharing here and actually take you into my ChatGPT tool. Let's see if I can share my screen and go over to here, share. All right, let me see if I can find it now. Where are you? Let's see. All right, I'm sharing that. Oh, I haven't shared it yet. There we go. Share. Okay, great. So let's see. I think I shared the wrong thing. Are you guys still seeing my my Limitless? I think you are. So I'm gonna stop sharing and try that again. There we go. There we go. All right, here we are. So here, and I was just looking at Rocketbook and providing this, but let's just head on over to ChatGPT. Oh, not that one. That one. And I do have this saved in my AI models, but I don't want to get distracted by the very large list of AI models over there. So I'm going to start here. So one of the things, many of you know, there's some new models available, very fun and exciting. So I've been using the Omni 3 mini model, extremely performant, like super fast compared to what I've been using in the past. And one thing that I will often do is ask it. Oh, first I want to go and share with you. I think it's in here. Mm, 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 mm in customization. So this is incredibly important for you all as a professional using this technology to make sure you're customizing it. Now, granted, it does require you to pay for this. So whatever $20 a month. I think I pay a little bit more because I have a Teams account and it's for my entire team. But notice here, like you want to be able to provide it context on who you are, what you do, what characteristics you want the GPT to have, and anything else you want it to know. Now, in my case, I actually use memories to store all the things I want it to know. So this is empty here, but I could also provide it here. But remember yesterday we did our have, do, and be? Like you want to make sure that this system knows what you want so that it can orchestrate its answers around those types of things. So for me, I've talked about my company that I'm creating a book. Oh, are you, I might not be sharing the right page. Thank you so much. Hold on. Let me share it. It might have opened a different screen. Sometimes when I share on Zoom, it does that. So let me try it one more time. There we go. Oh, I wonder, can you see that? Thumbs up if you can see it. Thanks, Padmini and Javier. Thank you so much. Yay! Thank you, Javier. Thank you for raising your hand because I totally wouldn't have seen it unless you raised your hand. Thank you for doing that. All right, here we go. So this, let me just go back and show you where it is. Oh, of course, I wonder if I'm now going to break it. But basically, I go into customize chat, right? Can you still see it? Give me a yes in the chat if you can still see me. All right, awesome. Hopefully you can. Yay, thank you, thank you. Awesome, thank you. So customize it. This is the most important thing. Like it's okay without this, but this is how you make sure when you ask it, create me a prioritized list of activities for today. It can give you something meaningful because you've trained it on what you do, what you're trying to do. I've also started using scheduled tasks. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that model, but there's a model that allows you to create scheduled tasks. However, right now, the scheduled tasks give you reminders right inside ChatGPT. So it's kind of presuming you're going to have this open all the time. I do, so it works for me, but it is the beginning of agentic behavior inside of ChatGPT where you can actually ask it, hey, every 1st and 15th of the month, I want to do this task, and it will send me a message that says, hey, it's the 1st. Do the thing. And so I could do that on a daily basis, right? Start my day with the most important things I need to do and actually set up reminders in ChatGPT to let me know when it's time to do those things. I can also ask it in that reminder to provide me guidance on how to do that better, faster, stronger than I would have done it all by myself. But the way to get it to do those very personalized things is to actually educate it on who you are and what you want. So please don't forget to personalize this as well. I also, I didn't mean to save it. There is also the ability, so I'm going to go into settings. There's also the ability to control the data that you're using and the personalization. So notice here, you do have the ability to create memories. Memories are extracted from actual interactions with the system. So as you talk to ChatGPT, it's going to give you memories. So this is like, V2. Hopefully you all are doing actual, if you are doing this right now, if you have memories configured and you've custom trained and customized ChatGPT, if you would just write yes. Oh, well, I'll be confused. Write chat in the chat box. Thanks, OC. Thank you for that. But just let me know. You can even put a 1 in the chat. I don't care. Just let me know. So one person has out of like 50. That's pretty good. Anyone else? I'm sure there's more. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. All right, cool. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. So now you know. I encourage you to do it. Not everyone has purchased this. You might have purchased Gemini. I would encourage you to look at the settings and find out how do you make this about you. That is how you amplify the result set that you'll get from these systems when they talk to you. It's not enough to get generalized answers. Certainly in the next year, you're going to be able to create much better, more accurate answers if you give it some much more clarity on who you are, what you care about, how you're measuring success, and it will drive answers for that. Okay, cool. So let's see here. Okay. Oh, I don't want to clear memories. Wow, that was scary. All right. So the next thing and the last thing is that I often will use, I don't really use ChatGPT for this. So I'm going to go to Claude and give you some guidance on some of the ways that I use, some of the ways I do model selection in my professional work. So I use Claude. Claude is actually named after a direct response marketer or a marketer in general, an advertising professional. And so it's important to kind of realize how these models are built, how they're trained. There is always a bit of fine tuning that's done in delivering a model. This is why a model can say, I'm really good at reasoning versus really good at logic. And so this model is very good at copywriting and marketing type tasks. So if you look, you can see many of these are like proposals, launch teams. So I'll share with you more about this, but like book launch support, like frameworks, like how do I create content from my prompt? I give it all my information and then I'm like, create this in a way that'll be more compelling. And I use the word high converting on LinkedIn or Instagram. And so that request for high conversion hits different on a Claude than it does on a Chat GPT. And I've tested this, but I encourage you to test it for yourself. So it's important to kind of have a running list of the AI models that you like to use and the reason that you use them. And then, of course, keep an open mind. There's always an opportunity. I am on the professional plan, so I have the ability to kind of customize this as I just showed you before, create multiple projects. But this is a really cool opportunity to realize that some models are better than others. I also want to mention, just because I'm proud of the team at Anthropic for this work. But Claude is one of the most responsible models available, according to the Holistic Evaluation of Language Models baseline out of Stanford. So I encourage you to also, once you do decide on your models, go over to Stanford or to GitHub, run that local, it's called Helm Light, HELM Light, and get a sense for how accurate they are, how precise they are, how consistent, but also how fair they are, how equitable they are. Are they racist, sexist? Do they promote self-harm? These models by themselves, with no interaction from you, have a tendency to behave badly. And that bad behavior is documented in Helm. Thank you so much, Padmini, is documented in Helm. Sherry asked, am I using Perplexity? Yes, I am using Perplexity. Specifically, their latest version. Let's go take a look. So for those of you not familiar, Perplexity, now here's the thing is that I don't have a big use case for search. Many times I'm creating, so I don't really do search in this way. I have trusted sources that I use for my research, like Stanford and MIT, NIST and NIH, like these organizations. If I search for something, I kind of search inside kind of a governed body to ensure that what I'm getting is well, referenceable and researchable. Perplexity, of course, is an AI powered search engine. I'll go show you what it looks like. I think, oh, it's signing me in right now. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Oh yeah, cool. So this allows me, to do searches and research and really supplement. Remember, I talked about anchoring earlier. Like if you anchor this against your habit to maybe go to Google, I don't Google really hardly anything. But if I did, I created a Perplexity because of some of the cool things that you can do with it. One of them is to create spaces. And so I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to save, just like I do in Arc, right? Save a bunch of searches that my clients are doing or that my prospects are doing so that when I talk to them, I can be extremely relevant to the type of things that they're searching for. But yeah, so I often use Perplexity as well, but not nearly as much as I use kind of my top 5 models. And that's just out of habit, right? Like Perplexity came late to the game. And so I just never really used it. But there are some people in our community that are huge searchers, like they're academics or researchers. And if you are a person that used to always search on Google, like, hey, try Perplexity as your search engine and see how it changes your life. With any technology, including DeepSeek, yes, you have to take into consideration the privacy and data collection. 100, thank you, Yara. Like COPA, for sure, and guidance, yes. So Yara just made an excellent point in the chat is that, and this is, so I, of course, let's go on over. to DeepSeek, into the unknown for sure. At least they're embracing it. Right. So into the unknown, you can use DeepSeek. I love what they've done here, right? So from a marketing perspective, the first thing they do is they focus on performance, not on privacy, as most models will do. Um, Performance, but what performance, right? Look at the metrics that they're measuring. I don't know if you just like look through this, if you maybe, I don't know, there's a couple things missing from this metric list. And I wrote an article on this as well. Um, but oh yeah, of course, exactly. Thank you, Joe. But this gives us a chance to kind of look at uh, a new model. But what I always like to do is read the terms of service. So much so that y'all know me and my cool new ideas. So Padmini and I were brainstorming, and I was like, oh my gosh, we should create an app that allows you to understand the terms of service. It's called Snap TOS. So Snap TOS, you can go in a snap, figure out the terms of service that are, amenable, responsible for you to use. Here's the sad, anyone, you might be able to guess. The sad reality is that people actually don't care. Like the vast majority of humans are like, if this system will do something for me that I need, if it'll provide me more convenience, if it'll be faster or cheaper, I am not even going to read the terms of service. Y'all know we've all installed apps we did not read the terms of service for. The difference is now we are one acquisition away from the Death Star in many of these applications. Or maybe it's built by the Death Star. So we should really be very careful. Read, how is our data going to be used? And there's quite a few people, I can't remember his name, but a friend of mine or a colleague ended up building out a kind of terms of service matching. I'll try and find it and repost it to you all. But looking at like the terms of service of OpenAI versus the terms of service of DeepSeek. And it's all a level of maturity. When OpenAI first released, they were extremely vague in their terms of service. We kind of, sort of, might, maybe, will, sometimes. Like that was kind of the way it read. Now, over time, and by the pressure of their executive and enterprise partnerships, they have had to become much more crystallized in that information. What I want to share with you is that DeepSeek is new. Same idea, very vague in their identification of responsibilities. Is it also owned by a country that has data sovereignty laws? Many countries do, but data sovereignty laws that will allow us to feed it data that it will be stored in China and never has to ever be disclosed outside of those walls. Again, you should be thoughtful about this. I don't use DeepSeek for that reason. I don't like terms of service that are vague and say I might maybe possibly sometimes on Saturday be good with this. So I will wait to see how it evolves. But I will tell you, watch the interviews with the CEO, reach out to people that work at DeepSeek. You will find, just like every good tech, there are good people trying to build something cool for the world. The people at OpenAI, when they started, were actually building an open AI platform. That was their mission. They were researchers trying to make the world a better place by creating an equitable AI system. Then it became a machine. And that's what happens. Like, so I encourage you to kind of think about the humans that are behind this and not just think about it like as this big red circle or big concern politically, but just befriend them, friend them on LinkedIn, find out what they're doing. They may not work there forever, but it's really cool. And I did the same thing with OpenAI. I became friends and linked up with Greg Brockman, who's now the CEO. But when I talked to him, he was, head of business development or something. And it was very cool what they were doing. And I just wanted to be friends with them. And so I encourage you to see the humans that are in this work, become friends with them, learn from them. And then use your best judgment and honestly, just read the terms of service. And if you don't want to read it, what can you do? Snap TOS. But you can just copy those terms of service, paste them into ChatGPT and be like, or Claude or your own model and just ask it, like, what should I be worried about here? What is worrisome? That's the minimum responsible use that you could do, is just ask a model, are you installing a product you should be worried about? And if you're worried, if it says yes, before you install it, just be like, check, I'm good with that. I get it. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Of course. And they're not really hacks, Javier, right? Like there are architectural solutions to use an AI model in private, of course. Like notice here, right? So there's absolutely, and this is true for all models, not just DeepSeek, though maybe our concern is bigger there. But every model, and just for those who are not able to see Javier's comment and 100% agree, there are ways for you to create agents that allow you to use DeepSeek inside of a federated tenant, like on AWS or on Azure, so it doesn't share your data externally. And that's true again for all models, or I should say, I won't say all, because surely there's going to be one that doesn't have the ability to use it privately, but most models provide private LLM capability that allows you to run it in your own data center. And in this case, AWS would act as your own tenant, Azure's tenant, GCP's tenant. So 100%. So, yes. And that's why I say, like, find out who built this thing. Like, learn who the CEO is, learn what their mission is. Don't be super quick to just take the narrative that we're being given in the media. And I just say this because these should be all tools in your tool belt as an AI professional. I do want to mention a couple other things. There's one of the things that I do inside of a company when I go in and I encourage them and I build an AI system for them. I tie it to a revenue generating activity or a cost savings activity so that I can build value in the thing itself, right? So maybe, for example, I work with a couple of law practices. And in this law practice, a huge time consuming task for them is just doing performance reviews or just doing, some of these things that has a lot of paperwork intensive activities. So what if I create a model that reduces that time from taking 2 weeks to 2 days? With that extra time is money, is operational efficiency, which translates to dollars. Take some of those dollars and invest in cybersecurity. The world of cybersecurity, it's dangerous right now, but it's going to get even more dangerous as we crack the code in quantum. So any advantage you gain in the world of AI, you want to encourage the people you work with inside your own company to take that advantage and start putting money into your cyber defenses. Some of the most common cyber attacks are done because you just forgot to lock the door. Like you just didn't do the needful things to build a secure system. And it's not like it's not hard. You don't need cybersecurity experts. It's part of a well-architected framework, but you just don't prioritize doing that work. And those are the organizations that are the most susceptible. So a couple of things I wanted to mention to you on that front, some software that I personally use in my clients. Of course, last year I got to speak at the Splunk conference. So Splunk has some very cool observability, AI observability services that they've now included. They launched it late last year. So I'm a big Splunk person. I like the name number one, but I also came from sysadmin world. So how do you add the ability if you don't have a cyber team or you have a cyber team and they're just crushed under all the other obligations they have? How do you leverage sysadmins, IT professionals, even developers in a DevSecOps environment to actually do more and see more? And Splunk is one of those tools. Also, looking at CrowdStrike, they have a tool called Falcon. This also has enabled you to take in the data you were taking in already, but actually use AI to do that analysis. So similar to us using AI to analyze our notes and give us summarizations and generate action items, you can now do the same thing for all of your log files. You like use AI the way you do for your note taking against information being captured by the systems in your infrastructure. So that is, again, if that is part of your purview, if you sit in that world, it is a huge opportunity as well. So I just didn't want to be remiss before we close out to mention cybersecurity and threat detection. Now, in that vein, I also want to mention that as a professional, you do have some choices. When you're building, whatever you do, whatever your profession is, whatever area of the world you're in, the future is the work you do plus AI. So take some time to think about, and that's our homework assignment for tonight, is I want you to think about your role like HR professional, law professional, tax professional, aviation professional, whatever that is. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you are, an executive, whatever your role is. I want you to brainstorm how you're going to use AI to solve the problems you deal with every day. What does you plus AI look like? How do and I want you to think through the lens of all the different applied AI models that are available. Computer vision, right? The ability to do document intelligence, object detection, right? Being able, like if you're in manufacturing, how might you use object detection? Of course, note taking if you're an executive, but how do you take it a step further? How do you create agents maybe to do research for you? What kind of research will they do? The reason I say this is because what you want to do is figure out what does you plus AI look like, and then even leverage AI to give you a training plan or a implementation plan for getting the skills you need to become that you plus AI person, right? How do you start using the technology? So the last chunk I want to mention to you is really kind of an opportunity you have right now. Again, I'm not affiliated with these organizations in the sense that if you do this thing, I get any benefit whatsoever. But I want to share with you the importance of really codifying your knowledge in this space in AI plus your domain. If you, in order to do that, it's really important to get a certification. And if I were you, I would get three. And the three I would suggest you get is one on every cloud platform. And again, this is pretty generalized. However, understanding the nomenclature, maybe you could pick 3 out of 4, but understanding the way that platforms speak about AI, speak about technology, and specifically speak about the cloud, which is going to host all of your AI. I think it's really critical that you can have these conversations. It allows you to take a seat at the table in technical conversations, even though your job is a business function. When you can bridge that gap, business function meets technical implementation, you become a very valuable resource in the organization. That is, in my mind, it is the sweetest spot to be in, where you can bridge the gap between technology and business value. And so I would encourage you, no matter what your business function is, to think about that. What AI looks like through the lens of your profession right now? And what types of things would you want to do? Again, you might get stuck. So leverage ChatGPT, leverage a model of your choice to help you ideate. What does AI look like from an AI professional's perspective? Now, what I did, because I'm going to share with you more about how to get a job in AI on Thursday, because that is the day. But as today, the way I win, right? The way I find success is I look for ways to amplify whatever I'm doing. So if I'm a content creator, I will brainstorm ways, how can I create more content more quickly? And that's how I ended up finding this Moleskine notebook that now allows me to create videos of my notes. Like, what? I'll do that all day long, and color code them. That's why I meant to use it today, but I'll use it tomorrow. Many of you know I have a Vibe, right? Vibe.us. It's a big screen that I can do digital whiteboarding on. And that also records my digital whiteboard to create more content for me. So how do I tie things together to create more, but with no additional effort, or at least very minimal effort, so that my value creation far exceeds the effort I'm putting into developing it? Okay, so I had a couple more things I wanted to mention. Oh, yes. So we're in a beautiful world of low code, no code. So the certifications I'd encourage you to consider is one on each cloud platform. First, if you don't know much about machine learning, most of you do, but if you don't, I'd go to Deep Learning and take their AI for Everyone course. It's an easy yes. You'll get some motivation. The second thing, though, I would do is really consider how you might to get a Google certification. They have an AI fundamental certification. Also at AWS, there's also an AI fundamental certification, as well as at Microsoft, there's an AI fundamental certification. I would encourage getting all of them because they are fundamentals. They're pretty easy. And the reality is what they're testing is your understanding of the world of AWS, Google, and Microsoft. For those of you that are not necessarily cloud people and you're looking for ERPs, or you're looking for other platforms, I'd also encourage you to maybe go the Salesforce route. So we have a couple of really amazing Salesforce evangelists and advocates in our community, but they have a significant world of AI and certifications in that space. And if your target audience cares about Salesforce, I would certainly go after that as well. But this is, again, generally, you will find, number one, that getting a certification, it's great for other people to see that you got it, but it's really much more for yourself. What I found is that when I get a certification, I'm kind of like, I do know this. Like, even though I kind of feel like I know it, like getting a third party to validate that you know it because you took a test in a proctored environment, it's kind of nerve wracking. I love that experience, and it creates more confidence in myself to go do more hard things. So it is a bit of it's a double-edged sword in a positive way. Like two benefits that you get is not only telling the world that you know what you're doing enough to get an AWS certification, but also to give yourself confidence that you know how to do this. So we'll provide all those links. Again, right now there are some discounts available on these platforms for getting those certifications. So I'm going to encourage you do that as well. Now, I just got asked by a couple of platforms. Pluralsight is one of them, to come and create some of their new agentic curriculums. So I'm super excited to be contributing to that. Another thing you can do is get certifications on LinkedIn. Now, again, these are more for you than they are for the world. Anyone can get a cert on LinkedIn. But if you use it as an opportunity to really dive in, some of my favorites are Semantic Kernel, that whole series of Semantic Kernel classes on LinkedIn. But the other one on LinkedIn that maybe I'm biased, but it is this generative AI, career essentials in generative AI. And that career essentials course, of course, I'm in it. So I'm a little biased, but I do think it gives you a really well-rounded approach. So we'll also put that link in the conversation, so you can have an opportunity to take that. But I have over 3.5 million students have taken my content on LinkedIn. So I feel like it's got to be somewhat good. If you use kind of experience, and people taking it. So I want to encourage you. Some of them, I mean, we did one of them last year. We did one 3 years ago. But again, AI, like the things I was teaching people in AI 3 years ago, people are still learning that today. As a matter of fact, people haven't even gotten to the point where they can learn that stuff yet. So I want to give it to you first and encourage you to use it. So I do have a membership on Coursera. I take courses there all the time. Some of the prompts that I use that I'll put in there, that I just copied and pasted from ChatGPT, that I use all the time, is based on my current skill set and career goals. Remember, I put that in my memories of ChatGPT. Can you recommend the next 3 courses on, in my case, deep learning and ethics, right? So whatever your 2 topics are, and it should be your business domain plus AI, right? Maybe it's HR professionals plus document intelligence. What are the classes I should take to get better at that? And just let AI be your guide in that way. Another one, generate a personalized learning plan to help me build my proficiency in Python and data analytics. A personalized learning plan. Now, what I love about this, someone mentioned it in the chat that ChatGPT is now search enabled. You could use Perplexity to do this for sure. But in ChatGPT, if it's search enabled, it'll actually go and just grab the YouTube videos and put them right on the page. You can actually copy it, stick it in a Word doc, and you can just use it, click, 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 click. So it's really easy to do this, and it will help you. The reality is that kind of the moral of today's story is you have to become a lifelong learner. And I say that really to say, you have to be willing to learn every single day. And I don't mean learn all the things, right? Get stuck and kind of overwhelmed in the noise of AI. But you have to be willing to constantly evolve your own skill set. Be willing to evolve. And then as a flex, as a superpower, you're going to take your desire to continuously learn, and you're going to share your learning process with the world on a personal blog, on Medium, on LinkedIn, articles. I don't mind, wherever you want to do it, on YouTube. You're just going to say, here is my journey that I'm on, and I'm going to share my learning journey with you. The art of disclosing to your audience that you are a work in progress is an incredibly powerful place to be, that you are constantly like you're evolving your thought process and evolving your considerations. It shows and demonstrates flexibility in the way that you think and a growth mindset. And it's incredibly compelling for people who are right behind you trying to figure out what to do, or your customers who realize they don't know what they're doing, to come and see you solve a problem. So document that. And content creation, it's not like, how do I build a LinkedIn article? How do I create a social, an Instagram thing? Like, just document what you do. It does require some thoughtfulness to think about, how do I document what I do without giving away the secrets of my company? But once you get good at it and start practicing it, learning the technology that will make you more successful and more appetizing to either clients or hiring managers, you can use that same process to actually increase the amount of people in the world that know who you are, what you do, and what you care about. And I truly do think that in the next 5 years, who people are will be as important, if not more important, than what they can do. And that's just me. Like I only work with clients and customers and partners that I feel like I know their mission, I know their values, I know how they work. And that's why I say, guy, the first thing I did was befriend the DeepSeek CEO. Like, hey, can we be friends? Like, I wanted to go and find out people who are working there and become friends with them. Let them see who I am, but more importantly, I want to see who they are. And I think that that's really, really powerful. Yay, I heart Splunk. 100%, Javier, 100%. All right. So I don't see any questions in the Q&A. I've been answering those questions as we go. But Yara had also mentioned it makes me a bit worried for people who take longer to learn due to learning differences. But also it's an important opportunity for people to make an inclusive education programs. Yeah. See, I actually think it's an opportunity. Now, the challenge with someone who I think there's another aspect of that if they struggle to learn in a traditional way, and they do not have access to technology. Because I think now there is an opportunity to create personalized learning plans for every learner, no matter how old they are, whether they are a new learner in grade school or whether they are someone like me, a professional, an executive looking to brush up on their skills. I think the challenge is the digital divide that's occurring. And Yara, you and I know, I mean, we're both kind of on the same page here. But for everyone else, like we have a challenge right now that there are schools that not only do not teach AI, they don't even teach technology. That STEM is a specialized track that has limited seats. Like a specialized track that has limited seats, and there's not a job right now that you will get that does not have technology in it. Every company has evolved to become a tech company, and soon every company will evolve from a tech company to an AI company. And kids today will not have, like, there are people in high school that have never touched AI, and they won't because their high school doesn't offer it or they don't have people who will teach it. So there's a couple things I'll encourage you to do. Either go to your local high school and offer to teach them what you know. You'd be surprised you already know more than they need. So like just do that. But also think about how can you partner with local organizations like mine to actually go into schools in your local community and teach. We have the curriculum. We just need the people to do that. But yeah, absolutely. That Varol, 100%. Like augment, I do think there is a bridge that we need to, a bridge that we need to go over. There's a gap we need to close in just awareness. And I do think that that's going to need to be a human, but with that human can come an AI system, right? We can go in and say, and now here is an agent. Here's a model that you can use that can accommodate these types of questions. If they knew how to do it, they would do it. And as a matter of fact, when I go into these schools, these young people who've never seen AI, their mind like expands and they come up with the most incredible, innovative ideas. And to think that they might not be welcomed into this industry to get jobs in this industry because of just the environment they grew up in. Like, I'm not for that. I'm not doing that. So we're going to change it. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, there are 100% Javier. Yes, in Latin American countries, there are some schools that offer programs to everyone. There are some, but often it's a function of their affluence. And I just think, I mean, I don't know. I'm in a world that I believe that everyone should have access to this technology. So I'll do whatever I can to increase the accessibility, starting with you all and planting a seed in you that you might go into your local community and teach a class on AI. It doesn't take much and it's mostly demo, and you will find that it is extremely fulfilling when a kid goes, oh my gosh, I never thought I could do that. And now I think I can. It's so cool. So thank you all for being here. It's 1:18. I'm just going to go through my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything else I wanted to share with you today. Oh my gosh, yeah. So maybe the last thing I'll share with you is the world of agentic AI is here. So as a professional, I think it's important to think about how you not just build a single bot or use a single bot to do a thing, right? Don't just use ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, but how do you create a platform? So I'm going to share my screen if I can find it. There we go. Oh dear. Oh no, that wasn't it. Oh boy, now I have to find us. Let me see here. Zoom. There we go. All right, cool. So I am, Oh gosh, maybe I keep going. Oh dear. Oh dear. Hold on one second. I can't find my Zoom screen. Hold on. Let's see. Maybe. Oh my gosh, 100%. Sheila, I love it. 100%. I'll even, and I'm coming to Seattle soon. At the end of, in the, yeah, end of March, like 24th or so. Let's see. Here we go. There we are. So I'm going to stop sharing. I don't know what I was sharing at that moment, but I'm going to start sharing my screen and actually show you. Here we go. Oh yeah, I think we were on the DeepSeek page. So here, last thing I want to share with you is this concept of the AI Leadership Lab. So this was my attempt to do exactly what I'm talking about. Oopsie, labs. And this is my initial attempt. But like as I work, these are the things I do every single day. And so I don't want you to think about it. I mean, of course, and everyone in the AI Leadership Institute, I started giving away subscriptions. So hopefully people have had a chance to play with it. But when I think through helping companies, I help entrepreneurs grow and scale their company with AI. So there are certain problems that I help them solve, specifically around marketing, social media, getting known, getting drawing leads into their business and closing those leads. So whatever, that's why I said the homework is what is you plus AI? Like, what do you do? And it might be just sitting down with a pen and paper and thinking about what do you do every single day? Or maybe look at a week. What kind of things do you do across a week? And then thinking, can I build an AI for that? So if you look at this leadership lab, that's exactly what I do, right? So the first thing, often people come to me and they're like, I need a domain name. I need to set up a website, or they have a website and they don't like it. They have no way of collecting customers or generating leads. They don't have a simple website that's engaging and actually collects those leads. And then I move into like creating content and generating awareness for their company. Do they have, the right hook? Are they able to stop, get people to stop on TikTok and watch their stuff? How do they optimize the introduction paragraph on their website so people immediately know who they are and what they do? And then I get into like closing the deal. How do you stop the scroll and sell someone something? How do you objection handle? Like all of these models I hand selected and created in order to solve a problem that was in the mind of my customer. So I also, though, have a version of this that I use just for me, right? So this is the one that I built and I organized for people who go through my consultancy program and my startup accelerator. And you can see down here with operations, like just being able to develop a knowledge base. That's like your SharePoint drive for us older people. Generate invoices, get money. So think about what you do, who you serve, right? And you could be inside a company. I've built many products inside a company. So think about what you do, the tasks you do every day, and then how are you going to break that apart so you can find little opportunities to leverage an AI system to do that work for you, or at least amplify your ability to do it. So let me just go and show you a couple of these that I've done. I think they were up here, maybe hero images. I think I showed you all this last time, but this is like the latest hero image I did. This is I love AI. Let me go to the default project. All right. So I think I just put in, something very simple like show me a baby tiger. So cute. Magic hooks. I don't know if I built any of these out. We'll see. No, or maybe I did better benefits. Let's see here. I'm gonna go down and see if I have any. I think I created some. Oh yeah, here we go. So you type in the business description, but notice what I did is I made it easy. Like if you already have a business website, just give me your website and I'll go scrape the website and create this content, which is where this came from. The benefit of it is that it generates, like here's a marketing proposal, right? I've created a couple, let's just say I made a fake one so that you could see it for the AI Leadership Institute. So I created a model that generates a marketing proposal. Let me just go and look at it. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the browser. Let me see. I don't know if you can. So I might have to unshare and reshare. But let me do that real quick. First, I need to find it. Move this over. Oh boy, I can't see it real quick. Oh boy. Oh my gosh, it's moving. All right, it's in my downloads. I'm just going to go to Finder and find it. But I want to show you the outcome of it because this is something I would have written by hand, but now I don't write it by hand. I have the template of it. 70% of the effort is done by a model I trained on how I would do the thing, right? So it's really powerful to think about who are you plus AI, and then don't just stop at using an existing model and custom training it on who you are. The next evolution of that is building a bunch of little models that do that for you. And then enter agentic AI. We choreograph those together to do the whole thing. Padmini reminded me of something I said the other day, which was very good, which is it starts with us telling a model what to do, right? And having that model do the task and us as the human, or the opposite, right? We basically have to get a model to do the thing. So we're basically giving all the instructions to the model and training the model. But what we really want to get to is once the model does that consistently, like rather us doing the front work and having a model learn from us, right? In other words, it's called a challenger model, right? Rather than say, hey, AI model, I wrote this proposal. Tell me what I could do better. That's stage one. Just have the model evaluate what you're currently doing. But stage two is, okay, now that you've seen a bunch of these, why don't you write it first and I'll become the editor? And that's the future of agents, right? Is that we train a model so well that we can then switch from being, I give it to you and you tell me how good it is, to I let you do it on your own AI model and I monitor you, right? I audit you. I check for all of the different metrics that I care about, accuracy, racism, sexism, like any of these types of behaviors. And I see we have a question in the chat. Let's see. So hold on one second. I'm trying to find all my screens are like, I have lots of screens open right now. There we go. Let me go to new Finder window. There we go. All right. So let me go to downloads. I'm just going to open this up while I take Sheila's question so I can show you what it looks like. Oh, yeah, it's cool. Okay, so let me stop the share and show it to you really quick. I love it. All right, share. So this is, again, me. I've trained this model, and now it does this generation. I'm still working on it. It's a baby model. It's still a baby tiger, but I think you'll get a kick out of it. Right, so this is the model itself. Let me know in the chat if you can see it. It should say AI Leadership Institute with some chat GPT generated. I think I'm using Midjourney. Okay, awesome, Amit. Thank you. So this is it, right? So this is what I built for myself, but I build these for my clients. And what I do is I have a model that goes out and based on the website they gave me, I generate their site performance. I do it on mobile, and then I also do it on desktop. And based on that behavior, right? Notice I'm really good at SEO. Everything else, I'm like, ah. But then I generate a bunch of instructions. Like, here are things that we can do. Here are things that are currently in your page source that's decreasing the validity. All of this, of course, they'll be like, I don't know all of this. That's okay. Here are the things that we're going to do, the tags we're going to implement, the FAQs we're going to add to your site. Like, most people have FAQs and maybe they are frequently asked questions, but they don't lead people to a sale. So there's such a cool like nuance that you can use when you have AI do this. So I'm just giving you an example, right? Here are some marketing hooks that I can use. So this is me selling that, hey, I can help market your business. I can get you more leads and land you more customers. This is how I will do it by showing you based on your content and your audience, here's the best thing you can do. Now, can they take this proposal and do it themselves? Sure, they could, but they won't want to. In general, people don't usually want to. They're just like, no, I'll just do it for me. So it creates a bunch of images. Usually I delete these and create better ones because I'm still training that model, but it's all right. It's cool. Here are the benefits, right? Those are the things you get. So looking at the website, how do we derive the benefits for the business, the bonuses, and the most importantly, here's what I want to tell you. Many of you who set your own prices, you probably have no idea what you should be priced at. I'd encourage you to actually ask the model for pricing. Ask it if you, hey, model, here's what I sell. What would you price it for? And just as a data point to consider, I have found when I do this for my clients, it almost always, and I shouldn't say this, not all my clients, but my underrepresented clients, women, people of color, we tend to underprice our work. This will give you, and so this pricing is based on a generalization of what it's seeing on the internet as pricing. And so it's really cool. So giving, I know, right? So cool. Anyway, really, really neat. So let me stop sharing. I just wanted to give you that. And then I'll open it up for some Q&A. Here we have 2 questions in the Q&A. One, LinkedIn. I don't remember that question, Amit. Oh, thank you. Thank you for clarifying, Amit. So there were 2 classes on LinkedIn. One was Career Essentials in Gen AI. The other one is on, oh goodness, it's on deep fakes. you could type in Noelle Russell and deepfakes, but I'll put that link in the chat. But it basically is on it's like deepfakes. Ashley Kennedy and I did it together. That's the one we got like 3.5 million students to take it. But it's on synthesized media. Oh, that might be the title. I should know that. I'm really proud of that work. But yeah, you're welcome, Amit. I saw something earlier, a question. Which platform software are you currently using for this, Lucy? To build this? I hope that's correct. To build this technology or this platform. So this is so I'm doing GPT wrappers. So I'm using different chat GPT, custom GPTs, and embedding them on a React platform. It's not fancy. It doesn't look very pretty, but I'm one of those people. I'm like, but it works, yo, let's do that. Yes. So here's what I would recommend. If you wanted to do this and you are a Microsoft person, I would encourage you to look at Power Platform and custom agents. So maybe that's the last thing I'll share with you, is the world of Copilot. And again, I do have a class on this. And so for those of you in the AI Leadership Institute, I can point you all. It's already recorded. It's in our classroom. But let me share my screen. I'm going to go to, where's my arc? There we go. Share. There we go. So I'm going to just change this really quick to, I'm going to say Copilot Studio. I can't see anything because all my QA messages. Hold on one second. So Copilot, oh dear, I lost the focus. Let's see, there it is, Copilot Studio. So Copilot, many of you know Copilot. I think I talked about Copilot a little bit yesterday. You can go out and look at Copilot. But I would encourage you to really look at this because it's no code, but very functional and enterprise scale. And that's how I built a lot of these wrappers. Some of them are custom GPTs inside GPT Builder. So I'll show you that also. So as this loads, I'm going to go to GPT. So one of the things I use for these is the ability to create your own GPT inside of this tool. So some of you know my bot builder. I use Pizza Pal as my reference. So I created it here. You can see I've created a 10x business coach. I usually will create a custom GPT for my clients as a higher perceived value add that they can give to their customers, right? Whether it's a GPT for answering questions, or it's a GPT to actually do something like generate. We have one that we built for a tax professional, and it generates a checklist based on the input. Like you give it a tax document, and it generates a checklist based on that tax document of what's missing or what needs to be corroborated to support an audit. So that could be really valuable too. So this is one option. The second option I just want to go and show you is this bridging the gap technology of building agents in Copilot. So millions of people inside of the biggest companies in the world have access to Copilot, and most of them are like, meh, it doesn't really do what I do. It doesn't really satisfy my needs. You might be one of those people. But the way to supercharge a Copilot experience is to actually think about, that's why this homework is so important. What do you do as a tax professional, and how can you add AI to that? Here, it allows you to build an AI system for that and embed it directly into Copilot, or even better, if you are a Microsoft house, right into Teams. So I'm going to show you all of these. These are the ones that are provided by default. Like these are kind of templates you can start with. Notice things like IT help desk, things like benefits, self-help, citizen services. Now, again, what this allows you to do is as I did, go into a county and and again, this is if you want to do this for a living, but I went into a county in Arizona. I talked to their CIO and I said, hey, I'd really love to help you with this. You're a Microsoft shop. You already have Copilot licenses. Let me help you create some custom Copilot agents that you can use. Now, eventually these agents will tie together, but as right now, they're baby tiger mode. So start small, start with one or two of these, get them to be very good at doing their job before you start orchestrating them together. But that is the journey, right? Start first with Copilot, then build agents that close the gap on the Copilot experience, and then start orchestrating these Copilot agents to communicate to each other. So this is accessible right now. You can go create an account. This is no code. If I go in and look at this, when you build a new agent, you're basically building it using natural language. So a lot of these tools that I offer are built using natural language. So let me just go into like IT help desk, for example. I mean, it's incredible. It's like just a wealth of opportunity. In this case, IT help desk, I ask the client, who's your, service desk provider, or who provides like your ticketing system, in this case, ServiceNow, right? So you can set it up to the company's ServiceNow interaction and use a conversational agent inside Teams to facilitate that, rather than someone sending emails, or worse, calling humans and taking up time. Hopefully that is helpful. I do want to take the live call. I think, oh, Sherry, I think they meant model that refers to, oh, yeah. So when I say model, maybe just for clarity, I do mean like like a ChatGPT is a model, but in order to use it, right, in order to build a custom GPT, you actually don't have to build the model from scratch. You're leveraging it. It's called applied AI. Yeah, exactly. Vertex AI. Also, though, in Bedrock and SageMaker, similar capability as well. Absolutely, Javier. Thank you for that. Now, granted, their interfaces, everyone has their strengths. I have found that the Copilot stack is the oldest, so it's got the most maturity in market. It also has the most users and most customer feedback. So I do tend to find it's easier to use. But that's one of the questions I ask before I go into a client is, what platform are you on? And the good thing to know, Javier, thank you for that, is that there are platforms that do this on all the major cloud platforms. I didn't mention NVIDIA, but NVIDIA has its own developer center with its own capabilities as well. So if you haven't looked into that, please do that. All right. So Sheila, I don't know if you still have a question. So I'm going to unmute you in our last couple minutes here. Let me find my way of doing that. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Don't forget, there's a couple things that I want to encourage you to do. More Q&A. Let me make sure I entered all the Q&A too. I'm going to stop sharing and go into our Q&A. Yeah. Okay, Sky, I think I answered that as well. And let's see here. Sheila's got her hand up. Oh, did you unraise it? I was going to say if you wanted to ask your question, but maybe you asked it down here. Let me go to the bottom. All right, Sheila, I don't see you, but if you want to raise your hand again, you can, and I'll take your question live if you'd like to do that. NVIDIA is, it is crazy nice. Agreed. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, because I am a big fan of it. Oh, great. Sheila, thank you very much. Because it's a long list of people, so it's hard to see. You can talk, unmute yourself, and let me know what your question is.
Yeah. Thanks, Noelle. So two things. When are you in Seattle? And secondly, for the exercise that you were talking about, creating your own small co-pilot agents, for me that, I'm still new to this, how would I get started? Is there,
Yes.
I can
Absolutely. So I will be, so I have a class already. So it's a YouTube video that I did in a class, live learning lab. So I will send that to you. It's on YouTube, but there's a lot on YouTube. So I'll just send you the link directly.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
And I'll post that to everyone. So if you all are interested, I'll put that in the chat that we do after this call. So wonderful.
Great.
Thank you for that. And then Seattle, I will be the week of the 23rd of March. I think it ends up being a Wednesday or a Tuesday, but I'll be there for the rest of that week.
Okay, great.
So we'll definitely get together like old times.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh my
Awesome.
gosh, so
Thank you
excited.
so much. All right. And then the last thing is some of you did join us yesterday, but we do have an incredible, cool opportunity for you to be part of a fancy new team. We'll throw the link into the chat, but I'm going to pull it up right now, which is info. Oh gosh, let's see if I can find it. There it is. So we have this new program that I just launched. Basically, you get to be part of my inside cool team called Responsible AI Insiders. It will not only will you, of course, get early access to all things book related, but also I'll be coming into cities all over the world, Barcelona to Portugal to New Zealand, Australia, China. So it's a huge world tour. And if I'm going to be coming to a city near you, I didn't mention many US states, but of course, all across the US, every major city, even non major cities like Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, and Moline. But I will be all over the world, and so I want to make sure that I have some friends in the city. We are going to be hosting little I Love AI community sessions in every city. I would love to partner with you to be leaders. So let me grab this link and throw it in the chat. And the best way to do that is to just join us and become part of the fun. You'll get lots of cool stuff. We're also going to be doing giveaways as part of this as well, just to help get the word out. We have baby tigers we're giving away. Yeah, not real ones, I know, but cute ones. They're still going to be cute. Let me see if I can. Why isn't it? Oh, there we go. Control V. There we go. All right, awesome. So that is the link. Please feel free to join us. You'll be getting emails from me. So make sure that is my personal email address that it comes from. So please save it to your contacts so I don't get thrown into spam. It is instantaneous. So if you don't get an email right away, please go into your spam and find me and make me your friend. Add me to your contact list. Sweden, what? No, but I'm going to put it on the list, Lucy. It's happening. So yeah, I'm doing it. So all I have to do usually is I contact the local university, or Lucy, you can help me contact the local university, and if they can make a space for us, we go. So let's do it. But yeah, I have literally added 5 cities as a result of people in the community being like, "Are you coming here?" And I was like, "Yes." So if we could do it, we will. And oftentimes I'm already in the area in Europe, so it's not super hard to do. Awesome. Amazing. What? That's cool, Sky. What a small world we're in. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being part of this amazing journey. And for those of you who are interested in being an insider, thanks for doing that. We are going to have a whole bunch of fun over the next 8 weeks while we launch this book. You'll see we have a whole tour on local media channels as well as national media. Like, this is going to be huge. My dream, I took a picture of it the other day, is to actually go in, like in the airport, they have this like bunch of like business books on a shelf, and I'm like, that's my goal, is to get on when I go through the airport, I want to see my book on that shelf, and you'll see it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited. So I want to take you all on this journey with me. It's going to be really fun, very inspiring, and we need leaders along the way, because everywhere I go in these cities, that's why I want to partner with you. These cities, these clients and companies in these cities are like, how can you help me? And I can't help everybody, but you can, right? So giving you the opportunity to really become a leader in this space and help local organizations, companies, chambers of commerce really find their way in AI over the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, it's going to be an incredible, incredible opportunity. So thank you. Always glad to have you all here. Thanks for being here. I'm super excited about tomorrow. So tomorrow is for my startups. For you, if you have a company, tomorrow we are going to do a crash course in how to grow your business with AI. It is the #1 topic. I just did this session on Saturday. It was a huge hit. And it's really about getting sales. Like, how do you actually sell a thing today? So even if you are inside a company, how do you drive revenue? How do you gain more attention? I'll be talking about the 7-step system of building a profitable business. And that could be inside a company or as a founder entrepreneur. I think you all get a lot from it. And like I said, you might not be building a company now, but you might want to build a side hustle. So let me help you do that. And let's change the world together. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Gretchen. Awesome. So glad you're here. Thanks to everyone who took the time today. Welcome to this amazing fun week. It is my favorite week of the whole year, and I'm just honored that you chose to spend some of it with me. This video will be placed in school. Your homework, if you choose to accept it, is to write down, and I'm going to encourage you, publish it in school, like in the community, publish it in the chat, and just say, this is what I look like plus AI. And again, identify your profession. You might learn a few things from each other, and I'm definitely excited to learn from you. So thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.